The map is a little like bottom heavy this week, I noticed. So nothing above the 43rd latitude.
Welcome to Waiver Watch episode 26 on May 10th, 2020. We are 107 Waivers. And each week, we bring to you some of the most interesting waivers granted to you by the FA in the weeks prior. And that is kind of like my transition to you. As always, Jakey, hit us with the weekly waiver totals.
All right. So we had 21 waivers approved this week. And that is the lowest total I think we've seen in a long time.
21 is
21.
No.
You
really?
heard that right. Yep.
That's
yeah. Let's we'll get to that in a second, just the trends here, but really quick the totals. So 19 night operations, 107.35. Mr. Robert Huck of Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma. Good to see him back on the board. And 107.39. That went to a Dustin in Hawaii. And he has the competitive advantage in Hawaii because he's the only one that holds that waiver. So congratulations to him.
Pair of zero as well.
That's right. Yeah. And sorry, I cut you off, but the map is a little like bottom heavy this week, I noticed. So nothing above the 43rd latitude. So kind of an interesting week.
We got snow up here, so maybe so did everyone else, and so did the waivers. They froze up here. I don't know.
Yeah.
That would explain the low numbers.
The waiver chill. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess maybe how about a quick fun facts, maybe some sad facts about waiver numbers. So 21 waivers for this week. That is pretty low. A fun fact, on March 2nd, there was 26 waiver approvals alone. So a single day has beat out an entire week of waiver approvals.
Ouch.
That is a little intense. Also, just kind of looking back, I'll just rattle off the monthly totals for 2019. So January, we had a total 115 waivers approved. February with 193. March with 202. And April with 133. So March had a little spike, but that was because,
good month. Yeah.
But it was only because of 1 week. So it was the week of March 8th, ending March 8th. They had approved 79 waivers that week alone. So that was, with that March 2nd total in there.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's like a third of all the waivers that month in a week.
Yeah, that was crazy high.
It's a good week.
I don't know, that might have been right around the time when everyone was still working in the office, and maybe there was a lot of talk about remote work, and everyone was like, okay, hurry up and clear the queue. Maybe we thought it was going to be a couple weeks instead of a couple months.
2 week vacation, clear the queue and see ya.
Exactly. They were just like, hitting that approve. You get a waiver. You get a waiver. You get a waiver. You should have submitted. If you wanted something to approve, that would have been the week to get it to land.
Had we known.
Oprah Winfrey was in the FAA's office just hitting approve on everything.
It's kind of like the stock market. You just don't know when it goes up and down. So you just got to, average just one a month, throw them in,
Yep. So that was...
So it really didn't slow down until April, essentially.
Right. And so we'll have to see how May fares as we get towards the end of this month. So anyways,
might be kind of a downer month, I think, at the end of the month, but
sadly enough, it might.
We'll see.
So hopefully those waiver numbers come up. We might be in the waiver approval list next week. Hopefully, cross our fingers. Probably just jinxed ourselves right there. So we did respond to an RFI. Hopefully, good news.
And another RFI that we need to respond to. So
yeah,
we've been busy during this shut down, lockdown, quarantine.
Yeah. If we opened up our Drone Zone account and showed you our pie chart, you would look and you would say that looks like a kindergarten drawing of splattered colors, because we have at least one of everything: denied, rescinded, everything. Well, rescinded's not actually one, but canceled.
Yeah.
Request
Request for information under review. Yeah.
Funny enough, the canceled one was when I was asking for an airspace waiver.
Oh yeah.
I just wanted airspace off, and I clicked it. I was
like, dude, you can't request those. Yeah.
No, and it actually says in there, pretty much don't click this.
Yeah. Unless you're told.
They should pretty much just take that off, and there should just be some special approval process, not even in Drone Zone, because just think about how many. I just intuitively was like, oh yeah, I want that, and I didn't read, and I just clicked. Think about how many they get. That would be interesting to know how many they just say you're wrong, and go back and do this. Do they even give them a hint to say, hey, fill it out through this way? Or
probably not.
Yeah.
Probably.
Anyways.
Yeah.
So
should we talk about the one exciting waiver this week at least?
I think we should.
Let's do it.
So yeah, this is Robert Huck's waiver. It's 2064 of 2020 approved. It's a 107.35, which is operations of multiple UAS. Mm-hmm. And going into some of the details, so typically, we may think of operations of multiple UAS in two fashions. One is a swarming type of drone, whether this is drone light show or some research or whatever. And then there's the use cases where you might have a central location or operation center where drones are flying out doing different tasks away from each other, and they're not acting as a group. So yeah, Jakey, why don't you kind of just tell us a couple highlights of this waiver, and what type of waiver you think that Robert Huck has based on the swarming type or the drones that do tasks.
Yeah, so this one, he got approved up to 20 small UAS. Visual observers must be used. The flight boundaries must be identified. A geofence must be deployed. And so this waiver actually looks very, very similar to the drone light show waivers that we've seen in the past. And so typically with those, the FAA is looking for a completely sterilized ground area, and you have to essentially, fence it off, keep people out, because I'm guessing they just don't trust the technology at this point. So this one definitely seems like a swarming type of approval, where they're going to be doing, a bunch of UAS flying kind of all in one area, doing a common goal. So I just don't think the FAA quite trusts it yet. So in the event one has an issue, a lot of the times the resolution to that is just either terminate it or land it immediately, because you don't want it to go careening into others and have this chain reaction. So typically with these, and I think it's what Mr. Huck got approved as well, they just clear the area, make sure the aircraft stay in a box, and then kind of go nuts, knock yourself out in that box. So that's my thought.
Yeah, probably some research and development that they're working on, right? They have some sort of platform out there, and they're just dipping their toes in the water, saying, hey, how can we use this? What is it like? One interesting thing too is with the drone light shows, typically you'll see they specifically call out how many VOs you need per set of drone. This one, it does not. Granted, it's only up to 20. So typically, how many VOs do you think they actually would have for this, if you had to just guess?
Well,
based on some light show stuff.
Yeah,
it's different, right?
So one, I think, a lot of the drone light show ones we've seen, somewhere between 20 and 50 is the magic number. So 1 VO per that number. But I think it depends kind of on the size of the area, maybe the mission that's going on. And this waiver doesn't actually specify. It just says, as many VOs as you need to do the number of aircraft. So I'm sure they proposed, some ratio and Waiver just accepted that. So it's hard to say, but
and they kept that secret in their waiver documents that they submitted, so that didn't make it to the table.
Yep.
So we have to do a little guessing.
Right. A part of me thinks, so I put a use case in here, like multiple spraying drones to do, like one really large field. And if you think back to, I don't know what it was, like maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago, there was 2 10735s like in a row to spraying companies down in the southern areas. I think one was in Texas and one was maybe in Florida. Don't quote me on that. We'll come back and fix my mistake next week. But anyways, they have they have a lot of egg down there. They also have I know boll weevil infestation's a big thing in Oklahoma. So if I just had to guess, maybe there's spraying going on, but that's totally a guess. But if you think about just a bunch of little small drones and just covering a really large area instead of one huge, spraying aircraft, I think there's advantages to that. So anyways,
so
but
I don't really have much to add there. I'm kind of at a loss of words right there. so there really wasn't. There's not a lot of substance to these waiver approvals as of late.
FAA's got to give us something to talk about.
We'll hopefully next week we can start talking about ours, and we'll have plenty to go into then. So all right.
Well, we'll catch you all next week.
Yeah. Take care.
Fly safe.